people. Well, tonight we have a very special episode of Jesus and Coffee. Tonight I have Tammy, who you all met a few videos ago, and I have two new guests for you. Let's introduce to you David and Megan. If you don't know, David, this is my younger brother. Then this is his beautiful wife, Megan.
Rookies.
First of all, this could be a complete disaster, and there's lots of different things that are probably going to be said tonight that have nothing to do with what we're actually talking about. I don't know that we know what we're actually talking about. We are on location shooting Jesus and Coffee in Miami, Oklahoma. Spelled Miami, said Miami.
Also
Oklahoma.
known as Fraser Brothers Studios.
Fraser Brothers Studios.
Yes, it is.
Right, that's right. This is the hometown of Fraser Brothers
our current
Studios.
location.
Our current location, that's right. Current location soon to be unknown. If we have a secret location. It's like a bat cave.
Okay.
Right. It's like pop-up shop.
It's like a pop-up shop. We're going to have a pop-up shop. Fraser Brothers pop-up shop. So anyways, without further ado, let's have some Jesus and Coffee. Hi, this is Todd. I do stuff, and sometimes I record it. This is another episode of Jesus and Coffee. Enjoy.
Coffee. And chai.
Okay, so we haven't made up a word yet.
Oh dear.
So anybody have any ideas for making up the word?
We're talking about expectations.
We're talking about
in marriage.
relationships, and we're talking about marriage, and we're talking about Jesus, and we're drinking coffee and chai.
We sat down here to do this and you don't even have a word?
Okay.
Relationarianism.
Relationtations.
Bill. Relationtations.
So what's our word?
How about we just talk about stuff?
We're going to talk about some topics.
Talk about some topics. I guess I should lead this crew.
This is your show.
Relationship-wise, I'll start with us, and then you guys can talk about you. Tammy and I have been married for 14 years. 14 years.
This month.
Earlier in the month. We already had so I'm really on
That's
15
even
in my head.
less of an excuse
Right.
to not
So
know
we've been married for 14 years, and we dated for 5 years before that. So we've been together for 19 years. That's a long time. And she is a saint, let me tell you. Do you think you're a saint?
Yeah.
So we've had our ups and our downs and our fun times. But no, seriously, we've had a lot of experiences back and forth over the last 19 years. And I think that we've had some reasonably serious fights, specifically about fudge and ice cream. And I think we learned the most
Fudge and ice
from
cream?
those fudge and ice cream. Hey, get off my fudge and ice cream. And no, but seriously, we've had some things that made sense when we realized this kind of is a consistent flow when we get into any of our arguments and disagreements. Thank you, disagreements. Good word. Am I missing anything?
No.
No? All right.
That's pretty much how it goes.
And this is how it works.
How about you guys?
Yeah, so we've been married for 12 years, and it's been awesome. Absolutely awesome. And I consistently am reminded how much I appreciate Megan and how she's just my favorite person in the world, And I think, like you're talking about, there's arguments and disagreements but then also there's been incredible joy and tons of fun that we've had over the years. And we used to race each other everywhere, like race to the car from the store and stuff like that.
You stopped racing?
Yeah, we stopped because I kept winning. No. But no, I mean, there's been so many fun things. And then you can throw in 3 kids and stuff
That's why we
that.
stopped racing.
Yeah, because I carry babies.
So, statistically, what is it now? 1 in 2 marriages fail.
Yeah.
Right? Statistically. And that's not only true in just overall, but it's true in the church. And I think that that's kind of a stat it's sad to look at in general, any marriage across the board, but especially if Christians, if we're supposed to be setting an example to how...
An example.
No, it's not an example of all. But specifically in marriage, I think there's so many ways that we take our selfish nature and we put it before our partner. And I think ultimately that's where it starts to fall apart. Do you want to tell the fudge story or do you want me to tell the fudge story?
I'll tell a fudge story.
Here we go.
Fudge stories. Married maybe about 1 year, living in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, where there was Steak and Shake, one of our favorites. And we'd go out late at night because they were open late. And we decided to splurge one night and actually share an ice cream sundae. And an ice cream sundae, you've got your vanilla ice cream and then the hot fudge on top, melting down the sides, and then your whipped cream and the cherry on top. So we get this ice cream sundae.
Wait. Who got the cherry?
I don't remember. Probably me, because you don't like them.
No, because out of my selflessness, I always give you the cherry.
I don't think that's why. But okay,
Go on with
we'll go with that.
Apparently, it's going to be a good story if that's the bright spot for you.
Yeah, I'm reaching.
So we get this ice cream sundae, and it's really pretty in a tall glass, and the chocolate's melting down the sides. And we take our spoon, we each get a spoon, and it's all cute, and we're sharing it across the table.
Let's reenact.
Yeah. And instead of being all cute and taking a bite of the little whipped cream off the top, he takes it, grabs the glass, and stirs it up. That's no longer a sundae, that's a milkshake. I would have ordered a milkshake if I wanted it all blended up.
But you have to taste the fudge in
He
every bite.
didn't even ask.
You can't even taste it in every bite if it's not mixed into the ice cream.
Did you want me to tell the story, or are you just going to talk over me the entire time? Just saying, you stirred it all up.
Yes, I did.
And I was like, what are you doing? You're like, I'm stirring in the hot fudge. I said, I don't like it that way. And we argued over him stirring in the hot fudge for quite a long time. And we left Steak and Shake very upset with one another. And still to this day, I do not enjoy sharing ice cream with this man. So we've learned that that's not something we do, especially hot fudge, things that have like...
That's not something we do.
We don't do that. We don't mess
We
with
know
that.
our limits.
Was there a time that you guys landed anywhere with it, or is it just like, we just don't do that?
We just don't do it. Because...
But you eventually were able to look each other in the eye and still be able to say, okay, we're past it now.
Oh yeah,
we're past the fudge.
We
How did you get past the fudge?
I think it was the communication during, after, and then later on down the line of being like, she said, I didn't like that. And I said, but I do like that. And you have differences of opinion. I think that's something.
Went into it with different expectations.
Absolutely.
Your expectation
Absolutely.
was a sundae should be mixed. You can taste it in every bite.
Correct.
And yours is not.
Because that's exactly what it is. I went in saying,
the history there.
you like it the way that I like it. And she's saying, well, you're going to like it the way that I like it because that's how you're supposed to do it. And so you expect that they're going to feel the same way.
I'm not, I'm
Yeah,
over
no,
it.
she's still, obviously, it's a very fresh story because we talk about it much.
That story's 14 years old.
It's a great story, though. It's a great example, though.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great picture of what every marriage goes through to some extent. You know, everybody has a hot fudge sundae. You know, that has the potential to drive a wedge between two people, and you know, sometimes it's something as silly as that that ruins a marriage completely. Isn't that crazy?
It's the start of ruining a marriage.
Exactly, it's the
Right,
start.
right.
Yeah.
And so those kinds of things, if they're left unresolved, and like you guys didn't necessarily resolve it to the sense of going, oh, okay, well, I see where you're coming from, and I think I'm going to start liking hot fudge sundaes that way now.
Yeah, but they
That was
resolved
your
it saying
resolution.
we're going to have different hot fudge sundaes.
Exactly.
It was a reality that was something that happened early for us that said we are not the same person. And we have different likes and we have different dislikes.
I think that was one of the first, I know that's silly, one of the first times we really felt that way. Because everything else was fairly agreed upon or not worth fighting over.
Right.
I don't like ice cream sundaes when you stir them in. They really takes the joy out of it for me. And the cool part is it was an ice cream sundae and we can agree to go, we're just not going to share an ice cream sundae.
Right.
But when you have bigger issues and things that you can't necessarily decide to go, we're going to do this separately and still be in a healthy marriage, that's when it's a problem. And fortunately, there could have been times where I'd be like, hey, let's get a hot fudge sundae, and I'll stir it in for you today, and we'll enjoy it that way. And then him be able to sometime be like, hey, let's get a hot fudge sundae and share it. And I won't stir it in because I know you like it that way. And I think that's a healthy way to do it too. We didn't do that with this one. We just cut that right down the middle.
Cut our losses and
Because
moved on.
it's just an ice cream sundae, but not everything is just an ice cream sundae, and you can't just decide to do that.
Do you guys have a memory of something that was specific, either early on or late on, that kind of flipped a switch for you guys? Or a story you don't want to tell? We want to hear that story.
I bet it's the one I'm thinking of. but you go ahead.
That's the best kind of story.
Okay, you tell it.
We'd probably only been married a week or 2 or 3, like the home from the honeymoon. Very short period of time. And we had gone to the grocery store and we brought back all of our groceries to our cute little apartment. And I start pulling things out on the counter and he starts pulling things out on the counter and setting them down. And the next thing I know, I just see him take the bags and just throw them. And he's just throwing bags all over the floor.
Wait, like up in the air, like Rip Van Winkle kind of
Just
like,
yay! Oh, this bag's empty, throw it on the floor. And I'm like,
he threw it on the ground.
Right, happy birthday.
and here I am with my bags. I have my one bag, and when I empty another bag, it goes into the other bag. You know, you put a bag in another bag. Thought, what have I gotten myself into? This guy throwing bags all over the floor.
Call Pastor Williams. Hey, we made a mistake.
Did you know he threw bags on the
It turned out that we talked about it, and I told him that was ridiculous that he would throw bags all over the floor. That why couldn't he just stick them all in one bag and we didn't have to pick them all up?
And my intention was not to leave them on the floor.
Right.
It
I didn't
was-
know that
Yeah.
at the time.
And that was another thing, was that there was a process that my mind was going through that eventually got to the same place of all the bags would end up in one bag. Or they'd end up in one place.
Which that is one thing that we are constantly learning and communicating through, is that there is more than one way to get to a conclusion.
Absolutely.
Can I ask what your thought process? I'm really curious because you and I, if people don't know, David and I are a little more alike in personality, and Megan and Todd are a little bit more alike in personality, which is why
That's
I think
why
this
this all
works
works.
well. But we know this about each other, and I think it's really funny. So I'm actually sitting here turning my head, going, "Man, David and I think a lot alike a lot of times," and I'm trying to think of why he's throwing bags on the ground. So why?
I was 21 years old. I'd never lived.
Did your
on my
mom
own.
throw bags on the ground?
I'd never bought groceries, and I'd never.
It's true.
Seriously,
It's true.
I lived with
Live
my
with grandma,
grandparents.
grandpa. Yeah.
And so
It's like
I figured.
spilling grape juice on the carpet and burning the house.
No. It's not as crazy as it sounds. I don't think.
I was just getting them out of the way. And I was going to
Getting
pick
the
them up
groceries
later.
out of the way, throwing the bags all over the floor.
But haven't you always wanted to have just a bag or a floor full of grocery bags?
No, never.
No?
No.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
That'd be dumb.
So both of us early on had introductions into marriage that was like, this is potentially a problem if we were to let that go.
Sure.
And I think that's important to say that doesn't ever go away, right? I mean that we haven't gotten to the point where we don't have those kind of issues or
Disagreements
or conversation. And I think that's the biggest thing, the biggest key is to have the conversation about, okay, why is this an issue? Why am I so upset about this? And I'll be the first to admit it that when I get upset, I get angry. I have that personality. I'm fun and goofy and whatever, but when I'm in a bad mood, most everybody knows I'm in a bad mood. Would you agree? And then usually after I'm able to think about why I'm in a bad mood and I come down off of that, I realize it's usually because I had an expectation that either I was going to be doing something or somebody else was going to be doing something, and that didn't happen.
The only reason you get sad or angry is when your expectations aren't met. You're on the road, you have road rage, someone cuts you off and that makes you angry.
Yeah.
Your expectation is that everybody should know that we are in a hurry to get from A to B. Do they
Yeah.
not know I
Have
don't
they not
have
heard?
time to slow down? And that I should be able to go the way I would like to go, and someone interrupted that expectation.
Sure.
So even whether or not it was intended or even like a personal communication, every time we get upset, it's because or sad, an expectation wasn't met.
So then do you think that we shouldn't have expectations?
I think it's impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, you have expectations of everything. And a lot of times, we don't even know what our expectations are. That's why you go through premarital counseling a lot of times to discover, oh, these are all the expectations I had going into marriage. And I didn't even realize it. And the time that you realize you had expectations is when you're super upset that they weren't met.
Yeah.
I think in marriage, you hear about the word, the unspoken expectations.
Yeah. Read my mind.
Yeah, read my mind. But so I think your question was, should we have expectations? Absolutely. We're human. We have needs, desires, wants. I mean, all those things, and to just say, hey, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm planning. Da 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 da. And those expectations are laid out on the table. But it's when you expect someone to read your mind that doesn't turn out very well, because he's not very good at reading my mind at all.
I'm just walking around looking around most of the time.
So communicating our expectations
Sure,
is kind of what
sure.
we're talking about here. Is that as there's always going to be some expectation on some level that either can be met or can be missed. And if we don't communicate those, we're sure to fail. But if we do communicate those, there's a good chance that we could get through that without killing each other. I think that's a fair assumption. I think that's good.
And I think being able to take a moment after you're upset about something, if you have the
Humility.
ability as a person to go, I need to just take a minute and figure out why I'm so mad, rather than just reacting and allowing your emotions to be in the driver's seat. The more we can just sit back and even leave the room and kind of go, what just happened there? And then be able to have the maturity to articulate, this is what happened, and then go back and deal with it with your spouse. That makes a much healthier home. Because when we don't do that and we just keep reacting and hurting and harming, then that is chipping away at the unity that you share in marriage, and that is so easy to destroy and takes a long time to build up.
Well, and I think that's exactly right on. I totally 100% agree with you. But that's the hardest thing to do. And
It takes practice.
It takes practice, and it takes humility to say, I might be wrong. Because you can't always get into there and say, my expectations weren't met. What did you do wrong? That defeats the purpose.
Right.
That's you can't have the attitude of, my expectations were this. Why didn't you do what I needed? Well, let's figure out how you can do what you needed to do. Because like we always say, you can only change what you're doing. You can't change what somebody else is doing. So if you come into it with the attitude of saying, my expectation is X and you did Y, okay, where was my part in that? How did I contribute and how can I change? And then communicate that back and forth.
Sure.
And it takes humility to say, I'm not perfect. I can't always do right. Sometimes I mix fudge in the ice cream, even though it's the best way to do it.
You know what else it takes? It takes a spouse that's willing to give grace and mercy, because
True.
there are going to be times that we may even be able to go, okay, I'm in my maturity, I'm going to articulate, this is why I'm so upset, because you didn't do this as I expected you to do it. Well, that might be an unrealistic expectation. It might be a silly expectation, but you still may stand on it and say, this is why I'm upset. We need to deal with this. And for your spouse to be able to go, it's okay. I still love you. I still care about you. You still have value, and I'm here with you. We're going to work it out. And wouldn't you say that allowing Christ to be the center, whatever that looks like for every person, for every marriage, is so crucial to that.
Yeah.
Because the minute that you look at Jesus and you look at his life, or you center around, okay, what does it mean to be a follower of Christ? And it means the life of sacrifice, of generosity, all this stuff. That sure makes for the perfect spouse.
Yeah.
All those things that he taught and he commands us to continue to live and teach. That makes for great marriages and great neighborhoods and great families and great kids. And
Well, when the greatest commandment is love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and then love your neighbor as yourself, it doesn't say in there, it doesn't add in love yourself and then love your neighbor. And so if you look at everybody, including your spouse, through that lens, then that's where the magic is, I guess. That's where the answer is. It's looking at your spouse first. Well, thanks so much for being guests on this episode of Jesus and Coffee. Did we come up with a word?
No, we never did.
We never did.
No, we never did. This
Man,
is the wordless episode.
This is the wordless episode. Wordless stationness.
Yes.
We're trying to wrap this up.
I am wrapping this up. This is how I wrap it up.
It's like how they are on the phone, trying to get off the phone.
It's exactly how we are
You
on
have
the
the last
phone.
word.
Yeah.
But sometimes you gotta keep talking. There's things that come. You think about things, and you forgot to say them earlier, and then you say them then.
Yep.
So, anyways, thanks for watching this episode of Jesus and Coffee
And chai.
and Chai. Sorry, yes. So we will. We'll see you next time. I'm sure we'll have to do another one before we leave, right?
Maybe.
Hashtag blessed.
Hashtag drink up and be blessed.
That's what I'm going to say.
Drink up and be blessed. All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.
I feel like the joke's gonna be on me.
I knew it was gonna happen. I knew it was gonna happen, and it happened really soon.
We have like 3 minutes left.
We do. Yeah, we're almost out of time here. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. This was good. This was good. Oh my goodness.
So what do we do? Are we done? No, let's do that again.
Do that again. Coffee and coffee.
We're gonna cut that one out. No.
No, that is so going. Cutting that out.